But that was, well, everything. So I've made it. It is 7 o'clock. I am at the convention centre. I had a choice. Get here for 9 or so and risk the will call line, because you look on the internet and there is various stories about how long this will call line lasts. Yesterday apparently it was over 2 hours long or something stupid. So, but Thursday is the peak day, today's Friday, so apparently it's smaller. Friends have told me I shouldn't worry about it, but I'm half on UK time anyway, so I was awake. So I Ubered to the convention centre, got to the will call line. I was the only one in it. So now the confusion begins. I am taking a moment to absorb the programme book. That thing's crazy. So it takes place in the convention centre, parts of a sports stadium around the corner, and about 4 or 5 hotels. So I can see why you need 4 days. There is literally no way I'm going to absorb this in any shape or form in a day. So we'll see how we do. I've already spotted a few things. There's a few cosplay things. I've seen a few people in outfits, which are pretty cool. Some people from the guild, which was quite funny. But yeah, it's bigger and more spread out than I thought. Absolutely crazy. Okay, I'm slowly orientating myself. So, the concourses have names, which is allowing me to get orientated. I figure out I should stick to the main building for now. If I start branching out to other hotels and sports stadiums, I'm just going to get totally confused. So, I will navigate this area. I'm trying to find my way to the main hall, which you think would be easy because it's freaking massive. But yeah, this place could do with Google Maps. It would help me out. So I figure find the main hall, brave the dealer's hall when it opens because I can experience the chaos of that, and then figure out other activities. I will try and branch out from the main building though, because I fancy going to that sports stadium just because I can say I have. But yeah, it is a bit overwhelming. It's a very random thing. Number one of what will no doubt be many random things today. The Magic the Gathering mountain of card pyramids. Now, pretty confused why you would build all those card pyramids. Sorry, I'm distracted because it's just over there. And then I went round the front and it was explained to me that basically they're going to throw money at them to wreck them, bring them down, and it's a charity thing. Never thought of that. Well, there you go. Random thing number one. I'm outside the convention centre, another exit of many exits. I think this is the one, possibly with the stadium on somewhere, I think. But anyway, I've been smelling bacon since I came out here and it's doing my head in. Because it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm really hungry. I feel like I've been here a while, still only 8 o'clock. And then I've noticed a bacon station van. So I'm going to investigate that. Okay, the problem with that sweet smell of bacon is everyone wants the bacon. Apparently that queue takes half an hour. It was not moving very fast. So I'm going to have to hold off the bacon, which is a pity. But yeah, queuing up already, 8 o'clock, but everyone wants breakfast. So now I'm walking randomly down the street. I'm actually walking away from the convention centre. Just seeing what I can see. Tell you what I'm amazed by. Just give me a sec. The various power scooters. So all over there's bikes, there's battery powered scooters. And the people are just scootering around the city. So it's like city but small town. As I said, I may have the vibe completely wrong, but I'm liking it. I'm liking it, but I love those scooters. Absolutely crazy. Food, food, food though. Food, food. Okay, I've been rescued by a Subway. Literally the only place open in there. I needed that food. Then I also had a unique American experience. I got stopped by a mall cop on a Segway and told I couldn't film in the mall. Don't get me wrong, very polite about it, but it was just hilarious. They had the white and black uniform and she was on her Segway and it was just, yeah, so American. It was crazy. So two things. Is this always called Gencon Lane? If so, that's pretty cool. Second thing, my random wandering around while I get tortured by the smell of bacon has allowed me to find the ram. No idea if I'm going to try and eat there. I did have it on an idea to do it at one point, but food gets mixed reviews. I understand it's very busy. So we'll see. You will find out. I am playing today very much by just see what happens. But at least my random wandering has allowed me to find the ramp. So in theory I should be able to find it again if I do that. But I'm quite liking Indianapolis. I realise I've only been here for an hour in daylight and I literally know nothing about it. But it seems to have a whole, how to describe it, sort of small big town going on. You know, it's big enough but still has a small vibe. I think that's what's going on. Well, I may be wrong, because I've not been here for long, but that's the feel I'm getting. Circled back round to the entrance I came in on. So that was my first, Critical Role cosplay there. First one spotted. Obviously Jester, very popular. Okay, it's got busier in the hour that I've been out of the place. It is 9 o'clock. So that will call line has grown. I mean, it's still in the convention centre, don't get me wrong. It won't take long to go through, but yeah, glad I was here at 7. Gave me time to get some food, whatever else sorted. But yeah, a lot more people now. So it's half an hour until the dealer's room's open, or the exhibit hall, as they call it. So let me tell you how this exhibit hall is going to go. I'm going to go in, and I'm just... I am not going to understand the scale and size of it. I can fully appreciate that. I've had a scan through the exhibitors that are in the exhibit hall. I think I know who about 5 or 6 of them are. I don't know whether there was ever a time in the gaming scene that I'd have understood more of who a lot of these exhibitors are, but now I have no idea. So I'm going to wander around a crowded hall looking at stuff I can't buy because I can't really take... Well, I could take it back, but I can't get it on the international flight really unless I buy more luggage. But anyway, I'm not really here to buy anything. I'm just going to be totally blown away by the volume of it all. And yes, I'm sat on the floor out of the main thoroughfare. I can see the entrance to the exhibit hall just across over there, but it's starting to get very crowded, so I am out of the way. So, cosplay update. I have seen, obviously, a Jester, a Knot, and a Ford, and I think that's it so far. My memory is already going. If I remember another one, I'll update you. Oh yeah, I have remembered another one. Vex. I have seen a Vex. So that's the only Vox Machina one so far. Or is it? No. I've also seen a Kaoth. Yeah, it's crazy. As I said, my memory's already gone. I haven't managed to get photos with a lot of them because they're in moving traffic and it's very hard to stop them. You would literally just get trampled. It is that bad. But we'll see how we go. Hopefully I'll get more later on. But their costumes are really good. I'm working on the principle of heading away from the door to get some space, and then I'll try and absorb what I'm seeing, but I figure get away from the crowds first. Okay, one thing you learn is. Queues just seem to randomly form at Gen Con, and half the time you have no idea what they're for. So at the back of the dealer's hall there's a queue forming, no idea what it's for. But the interesting thing I've seen so far, though it was a bit crowded so I couldn't get in, but I saw from a distance, is level up dice. So basically dice on display under lights as if they're works of jewellery. Don't get me wrong, they're nice dice. They are just dice, but they're on display as if they're like diamonds and, you know, wedding rings and stuff. It's pretty funky, but I tell you, it was a popular stand. I'll see if I can film it and when I go back round. But,
yes, so we got...
Yeah. Those two wargaming stands are absolutely amazing. I tell you, it's places like this where they have all the figures on display, all of the battle areas, battle maps, all of them painted, that makes you want to get into wargaming, but my figures would never look like that. I don't have the time, but I tell you, the way they've done the stands, I mean, that was like a military, that dust one was like a military storage sort of place, right? It was, they look absolutely beautiful, and I can just enjoy looking at them even though I'll not buy anything. They look astounding. I admit it, all plans have failed. I've started wandering around randomly. Now I have no idea where I'm going. I am going to rely on overhead signs to tell me what I'm heading towards. But did you see that boutique horror gaming or whatever it was? Boutique was the word. Those were several £100 for those games. £100 and that was on offer. Oof.
You would have like pull tabs basically so that you can lift these up easier to actually flip them all. With the mechanism
I'm not complaining, it is just a fact, but that Wormwood booth is a sign of what some of gaming is today. People my age, you know, second half of their 40s or in their 50s, who used to game when they were teenagers in the 80s, speaking to an executive salesman about a Wormwood table that I have no idea how much costs, but it's going to be hundreds, right? That's one side of gaming now, I guess. I remember when we started gaming, you used to avoid add-on products at all costs. Now you're 50, earning quite a bit of money, or hundreds of pounds on a Wormwood table. Power Ranger game, I didn't know that existed. I must admit, I'd be into that, as long as you could be the Pink Ranger, right? Have to be the Pink Ranger. Tabletop gaming, I am so out of touch. There is literally prestige tabletop RPGs out now with, like, you know, multi-books, hardbacks, each of them costing a fortune. Real prestige heavy stuff. It makes you feel like it's a big game that's really popular, and I just don't even know what it is. I used to be on top of all this stuff. like the look of that Monster Apocalypse game. There's nothing like some sort of Godzilla board game to appeal to me, I have to say, but it's sort of like the miniatures and the overall look that appeals to me. So if the miniatures don't arrive painted, which is very rare that they do, my game would never look like that. Time, skill, but the idea, really like it. There is some really good merchandise here. It's not even the games, it's the general paraphernalia, you know, like drinking mugs and whiskey flasks, and just there's some really good stuff. If it wasn't for the plane travelling home and stuff like that, I'm surprised. There is stuff I would buy. I'll just get out of people's way. But as I said, it's not actually games themselves. It's just, yeah, just some really good artistic stuff. An idea of how big this hall is? I have done 8,000 steps just since I came in here. Just walking around. They vary pretty wildly. So I tried to get close to level up dice. I was only 2 rows deep this time, not 4. I still didn't get that close, but what I did notice is they're selling them to men like they're buying a wedding ring for their wife, and they're selling them to the women as if they're buying jewellery. They are approaching it that way. It's very much that sales experience. And I watched 2 people buy stuff, and they never spent less than $100. And I think one was one set of dice, $100. Absolutely crazy. And I also noticed none of the dice on their displays have prices. So again, that's like a high-end jewellery store. It's crazy. I am out of the dealer's room, as you can tell, the exhibition hall, whatever we're calling it these days. I am actually trying to escape the convention centre. I want to try and get to this sports stadium thing. I'm interested in what's going on there. There may be nothing to do, nothing to see, but another frickin' sports stadium, man. So, 2 hours, 10,000 steps, just in the exhibition hall. And, well, I'm not going to say the exhibition hall's done. It's impossible to ever say that. It's almost impossible to capture the chaos of it as well, because it's just massive. I did my best as possible. I have made some purchases. Well, one purchase, I've got myself some Fate campaign coins, which I've always wanted, but they're very hard to get in the UK now. And that'll be it, because of luggage restrictions. So now the goal is to try and find the part of the convention that's in the sports stadium thing or centre. I may well get lost. Sorry, I'm looking at a sign. Let's see what happens. I may get lost. I was going the wrong way, so I've walked back in front of the convention centre that I came out of, that way. If I was braver, I would get one of those scooters. That seems just all a bit new to me. But yeah, you just put money in them, I think, and off you go. But from a person in the northeast, where we don't have any of that sort of thing in the northeast of England, you do in London and that sort of thing, I'm just a bit. But that would be cool. So, if you can hear me over the food trucks. So the 2 faces of gaming today are, and neither of these are value judgments, they're just sort of extremes, but both good, right? I'm not casting any sort of value judgment. One is the 50-odd-year-old guy who used to game in the 70s, buying his probably maybe hundreds, possibly £1,000 gaming table, sold to him by a executive salesman in a suit. The other end is 2 young girls, probably late teens maybe, geeking over the fact that they'd found campaign coins, so they had something to toss out for inspiration in their 5e Dungeons and Dragons games. Neither of those are wrong, neither of those are incorrect. They can both exist at once, and it's a glorious thing. Okay, I'm not sure what I was expecting when I said I want to see the part of Gen Con that's in the sports stadium. But whoa. Even if I go in there and there's nothing much to see, whoa.
Have a good rest of your con.
So that sports stadium was pretty impressive. But as you've noticed, you can walk down to the sports stadium without going in the sunshine. So if you want to avoid the sun, you can do that. What wasn't impressive was the True Dungeon stuff. I'm not really sure what I was expecting. I guess having done live role playing and stuff like that before, I was expecting more costumes, more sets. But it was just some activity around the table. I don't know. I think that was the True Dungeon area. Maybe I wasn't actually looking at what I thought it was. But if I was, that was nowhere near as impressive as I was expecting.
Oh boy. Oh, sorry.
No problem.
And I can grab my pipe back.
Okay,
Let's see.
I can take it back now. Thank you. Just got a good head on it.
So she was my girlfriend. She spent like 3 months on the.
She would do that.
Nah, but like.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, shade would be good.
How are you feeling? We're going to some shade. Thank you. Ukatoa, that's out. Ukatoa.
Oh my god. Where did everyone else
We are moving to some shade.
as we walk through? Yeah.
Thank you, you guys, keep going. We have more beer.
This was a much smaller line when we set off.
There's still more across the street. Okay. Oh my God. That's excellent. This is getting to costume level. There's still a few coming. This is a lot.
I'm sure at this point we can take over the convention, right?
Right? We are moving to some shade. Please tell them to spread out down the pavilion area and keep making room.
And a bunch of people going.
Drop that out.
That's a great.
We got real big real quick.
What's enjoyable? Some people just show up to see wow.
Yeah.
And then we picked up people as we were walking.
Yep.
Shane, yeah, there's just a lot of people over here. Oh my gosh, yeah. Everybody's going to the second one.
Okay, I was lucky. I don't know about any Critical Role meetups or critter meets on the schedule. I was just walking what I thought would be one final walk around the convention hall, and I picked them up completely by accident. We've walked to an area outside the convention hall, and the group was about a fifth of the size when we set off. And it grew in size as we went, as we picked people up. it has now got a bit crazy. I have to say, it's a glorious thing to see. I haven't really been involved in a fandom around anything since about 1996, early 2000s, and that was Star Trek. I'm still only semi-involved in this one. It's not like something I don't go to groups or meets or anything like that. But as seeing people engaged in something that I was engaged with at a level, say, back then, but obviously a different subject, an amazing thing. Without doubt, an amazing thing.
They should have brought some umbrellas.
Hello, about to go.
Who's gonna start taking photos?
So, there's more coming. All right. Can I have everyone's attention? Can everybody hear me? Awesome. So, we are going to start with a massive group picture. All right. So, over here, there is a section with levels. We are going to we are going to love each other. Okay? We're gonna love each other. We're gonna get a group picture. Doesn't matter who you're next to. If you're near someone from Box Bucket or M9 or NPC or player character, just get over there with the big family photo.
And then the
I can get some more people down here. Molly Hunt, Jessica, Ford, Bob, all the way in the back. Come down here. You all the way in the back. Come down here. In the back over there, I can't see anything. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. Yeah, no. That's great, that's great.
One step out this way, actually.
All right, guys. Same as last time. 1, 2, 3, 9. Wait 4 seconds. Good? All right. 1, 2, 3.
Did she leave?
All right. Hey, Kiri. Let's go around the flowers. Right around the flowers. Awesome.
Well, I have to get back to the hotel, change for the Critical Role live show this evening. I'm going to take my smaller camera to that. Don't know how much I'll film, you know, but I'll take the camera. But that was, well, everything. As I said, I was involved in Star Trek fandom around early, 90s, and I had a lot of the feeling of that. That was just amazing. I can't even describe it. Lots of people coming together, something they enjoy, just naturally friendly. It was amazing, and I encountered it completely by accident, so I was lucky. So I think I'm going to end it there. So I'm going to get an Uber, go back to my Holiday Inn, and we'll see what happens this evening. But that just capped everything off. It was amazing.